We good?
Yep.
Okay. Introductory speech. I was unprepared for how my life would change when I moved to the UAE. The heat, the cultural diversity, and the language barriers were just a few of the challenges when I stepped off the plane on November 28, 2012. I was completely unprepared for how this move would change my views on almost everything I knew in my life at that time. The decision to move to the UAE has been the best decision of my life because this time has helped shape me both professionally and personally. I came here as a nurse in a small Christian mission hospital in the city of Alai in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Daily I am challenged as a part of my job, and learning to handle those has pushed me beyond anything I ever imagined. I thought that I was coming here to change things. In reality, this place began to change me. I thought I was going to come here and be the most helpful member of our little church. I would play the piano, start the choir, teach Bible studies, basically do everything but preach the sermon and serve communion. I actually haven't done any of those things. One of the most unexpected things that I faced was the fact that healthcare is practiced differently outside of America. Our policy standards and rules do not actually apply here. And since most of my coworkers are from India and the Philippines, this makes us all come from very different viewpoints. But truly, the most unexpected thing happens. It turns out that I learned much more from this country than I had to give it at this point. Coming from a time in my life that was filled with heartbreak, loss, and disappointment, I soon saw that these people here saw me much more clearly than I did myself, and they were willing to pour out love and to accept me more than I initially realized. In return, I slowly began to realize that I needed to accept their grace, and this began to help me become a more founded and calm person. I slowly began to gain the closure that I was seeking, and as the months moved on, I became more settled in my life here. Even my career was affected. Language barriers made it to where my assessment skills had to be sharp, and I had to learn how to explain difficult medical concepts very, very simply. I also learned the value of my education and the reasons we need to practice policies and procedures based on evidence-based practice so that everyone is given the same standard of care. All of this together has made me into a much stronger and more grounded person. There is nothing comparable to working with nurses from fellow backgrounds, cultures, and socioeconomic classes to make you realize that there are many different ways to handle any given situation. Also, that everyone does actually have valuable input into a situation. You just have to take time to understand that the American way is not always the best or only way that the situation can be handled. Actually, it rarely takes into fact the cultural differences that you're frequently faced with here. Just because something is not American does not mean it is bad. Frequently it is valuable and very worth considering. Out of everything, living in the Middle East has taught me that the American media perception of this part of the world can be very wrong. These people who I expect to be dangerous and mean turn out to be very kind, generous, and hospitable. I have learned there is no reason to fear a person because he or she is different from you. Through all of this, I have also realized that my own story is very small. When I talk to my Syrian or Palestinian friends, for example, I realize that my own struggles that I have in this life are very, very, very insignificant compared to what they are living through. I have also come to see that compassion and love are two of the greatest things that anyone can actually give when learning to get to know someone. When I think about everything I have learned, I realize that I will never be the same again. Everything is different now. More than anything, I know that it is good to be completely removed from your comfort zone because through that comes growth and maturity. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything in the world. It has truly been the best decision of my life.